All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a grouped instrument. This also works for effects, and really the only difference between the two is that one has an instrument and effects, and the other one just has a group of effects. So what we have here is we have an operator instrument, and then we have several effects here that make the sound more interesting, okay? So if I were to turn all these off, you just have the sound by itself. Which is okay, but it's not very interesting. So let's go ahead and pop these back on. So to me, that sounds richer, nicer, more detailed. So I want to save this so that I can use this in the future, all right? So what we're going to do is very, very simple. We're just going to highlight the instrument. We could actually highlight any of these if you want, but let's just highlight the instrument here, and you'll see it's highlighted because it'll turn blue here. This will be a different color depending on what version of Ableton you're using and what kind of skin you're using. But essentially, you'll be able to notice when it's highlighted. And then once it's highlighted, all you've got to do is hit Command A, and that'll select all the effects with the instrument. So if we come down here and scroll through, you can see that they're all highlighted here, okay? And then the next thing we want to do is just hit Command G to group. And if you're using a PC, just substitute Command for Control, and it'll work just the same way. So now what we have is we have a grouped instrument rack, all right? If I come here, I can click right over here and just hit Command R. Once again, you can hit Control R if you're using a PC. And you could just rename this whatever you want. So I'll just call this Analog Sweep Pad with Effects. Then just simply hit Return. And then you're gonna come over here to this icon that looks like a floppy disk. Click on that. And now it'll save it into your browser, okay? So the place that this is located is our instrument racks. So now we can use this anytime we want. We just find it in our browser and we're good to go. Another cool thing about using a group effect is that if you're using a third-party plugin, let's say you're using Massive or Serum or whatever other plugin, instrument, or effect, if you put it in a group, then Ableton will save that as a preset within the browser. If it's not grouped, then you're going to have to save the preset in a separate folder that's managed by that particular effect. So it's going to be a little slower to get those presets. So what I recommend that you do is, here, I'll just show you real quick. If I come in here and I come to plugins, let me find a third-party plugin here. I'll just drag in Absinthe. And what you'll see here is if I click on this icon, it's going to open up a separate window to save the preset in a folder that I'd have to choose, okay? So that means that anytime I want to get access to that, I'd have to go into that folder. But if we have the sound that we want, we could just simply click on this, do another Command G, and group this. And now we can just save this by renaming it Absinthe Preset 100, okay? And then I can just click here on the icon in the group part, and there we go. It shows up in our browser instead of having to go into another window. So that's how you group an instrument. Same thing can be done with effects. You just drag effects in. You don't need an instrument, and highlight all those and group them, and it'll work the same way. Only instead of it being in the instrument rack here, you'll find it in the audio effect rack here. So that's it for grouped instruments and grouped effects. I hope this helps.